Coach, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate you sitting down with us. It's amazing how it works in life. Sometimes the beginning is the end. Sometimes the end is the beginning. This season begins with the team that so painfully the Miami Heat had to end against, the Milwaukee Bucks. They become the eventual champs. So how and or why is this team positioned better to deal with the reigning champs?
That's one question. The better question is, how the hell did you get on radio? I mean, you're a TV guy. I mean, I was a radio guy. I know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
But you went from TV to radio.
Yes, sir.
And so how's that going? How the hell you get to do that?
Well, you don't give up television. You maintain a footprint in television.
Absolutely. Now I understand.
Yes, exactly.
So you said, before I do this, I got to have this here.
I did negotiate.
I did the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Been coaching. Chick Hearn, I was working with Chick Hearn in the booth, and all I ever said was, "That's right, Chick." That's it.
Perfect.
Well, Pat, what do you think? That's right, Chick. So he would never let me talk. But I said to him before I went down to the court, I said, when I go down as the interim assistant coach, can I have my job back? Once they throw me back up here.
Exactly.
He said, yeah, you'll have it back, but you know, that's the rest is history, because I'm sitting here right now and answering the question about the position of being in with this team going against Milwaukee after we got our tails handed to us by that team in the playoffs. And it was the right team for us to play. It was the wrong time. And I don't know how I can explain that one. Right. It was really the wrong time because they were motivated, they were healthy. A lot of people forget that Giannis was hurt half that series that we beat him. I don't want to take anything away from the bubble and what happened in the bubble, but last year they were right on their game.
Just when most people seem to think that the Heat were stuck from a roster standpoint, particularly in free agency, you found a way to get unstuck, even if the organization never felt that way. The perception on the outside. 2 years ago, you acquired Jimmy. This year, Kyle, series of significant others that you were talking about there. What is the most satisfying part to you as the architect of all this in finding a way when it seems like there isn't one?
If you go back to like a perfect storm, okay, I have one with Andy. I have one with Adam and with Chet and with Spo. And when you sit around and talk about your roster and what you think you may need, and you say, it can't be done, we can't do it, and we are stuck, you find a way to get unstuck. It's all you do. And so if you want to go through the rebuilding process, you can. That can be painful and it can be very successful. But I don't think that's the way we want to go about our business down here. We want to be in it. And so I take a look at Kyle and take a look at PJ and take a look at Markieff in particular. I think those three guys can really help us. And along with having Dwyane now here for a year, plus our other young guys and how they've grown, I think we got a good, deep team. And I see real possibilities here with this basketball team as far as the growth cycle goes.
The woven thread between Kyle, Markieff, and PJ is they're champions.
Yeah.
In a day and age where our focus and emphasis seems to shift with every tweet or every Instagram post, why do those credentials remain the same in importance?
Well, I think style as much as pedigree, being championship pedigree, guys that have won titles. You never know you're ever going to win a championship until you win it. It's one of my favorite lines. You always dream about it and think about it, but you never know you're ever going to win it until you win it. And then when you win it, you realize just, how hard it is and how grateful you are. So until you get to that moment, you don't realize just how hard it is and how lucky you have to be. But these guys take us past that, Jax. They're not just, champions. They know what it's like. They've worked very hard all their careers to do that and to be part of these teams. So PJ and Kyle and Markieff are really going to help us.
In today's game, Coach, the role of the true point guard, as you grew up knowing it, as I grew up knowing it, has given way to hybrids and combos, and point forwards and all that. By your own admission, in the past, you love the bigs, but you also have your fair share of experience with great floor leaders. What entices you the most about having Kyle Lowry at point guard for this team?
Well, he's tough. First and foremost, I think those are the things that I like in players, that there's a grittiness, there's a toughness to them. Talent-wise, we all know he's very gifted and talented in what he does. So, he brings to the table just a tremendous amount of versatility. And I think Kyle will look at the game and sort of feel the game when he can push it. And then I think he'll realize exactly who he's got to get the ball to. I mean, he's so smart in that way. But to have a guy like Kyle, who has great talent, great experience, great pedigree, is that I think he'll solve a lot of problems for us out there when our game begins to go south. I think he's going to create a tremendous amount of excitement down there on that court, and we're looking forward to it.
Before we really had to dig in, after you acquired everyone, but before camp, we all had the lovely opportunity of going to Springfield, Massachusetts as an organization once again to honor one of our own. Being a presenter for Chris Bosh, let alone seeing him get into that appropriate place, meant what to you?
Well, it was just an honor that he would ask me. I think from that standpoint, being in a Hall of Famer here with the Heat, and then having Ray Allen come up too, and having Chris there, it was just an honor that he would ask me to present him. And it was just great to have one thing happen. I'm glad he gave me my ring back. Well, I tell you what. But anyhow, he surprised me, and it was just great to be on the stage with him and Ray.
Everyone wants to know every time they see me, tell me about this team. And the easiest thing to tell people is they're going to defend their you-know-what's off, and then things will work from there. Those first Heat teams you coached that you built in the mid-'90s, they were built with an edge. Any feel like this team has any of that? It's a different era. You're not allowed to play that way anymore, but does it feel like this team has that edge to it?
You throw a steak out in the middle of that court, I ain't going for it. I won't leave it alone.
This team has a little of that disposition.
You got to have an edge to you as a team. I don't care if you're a finesse team, a highly skilled team, an offensive team. You can label it yourself, whatever, but every competitor has an edge that they can get to. And some of the edges are a little bit higher, and the threshold is higher, but you can't go over it. And so I've coached those teams, and I know what it's like. It's not hard to get them fired up. It's not hard to get them to defend. That's in their DNA and their nature. PJ, it is not hard to get him to guard somebody, or tell somebody else to guard somebody, or Kyle, or Jimmy, or Ben. And that's not denigrating anybody else we have on our team. Our team will play with an edge. They'll play defense. We do have the components to be, I think, a very good offensive team off our defense. We'll find out in the first 30 games, what kind of team we have, but it won't be indicative, I think, of what we might be in the second half of the season because of our schedule, which is so road heavy early.
Yeah. Coach, last one, and I love this symmetry, personally, with this being the 75th anniversary of the league. My mom turned 75 coming up, and so I always know how long this league has been around because of the first day of November in 1946. You've been a part of this league as a player, broadcaster, as you noted, coach, and executive for 55 of the 75 years. Two questions for you in this space. What has been the biggest game changer or innovation that you've seen over the course of your time in this league?
Wow. I mean, so I've been through basically 6 generations of watching basketball at all different levels. Right. Every generation, you would see something different. Right. And to me, the number one thing that I've seen in the 75 years is the overall improvement in talent, in how those players become talented. It's just not being gifted. You can't just come with gifts, the gifts that God gave you, and take them out on the court and think it's going to work. You got to hone them and train them and get coaches to train you and help you. And I think over the last 25 years, you know, I see an athlete today that is nutritionally trained, that's trained out on the court, that's trained in the weight room, and they're serious about it. I come from a day, you know, where guys were lighting up cigarettes at halftime. Okay, they were bringing coolers. They were bringing coolers in the training room after a training camp practice and drinking beer. You know, so, and they had a lot of body fat to get rid of. So I think just the overall science in analytics and how all of that plays in today is that we're getting to see the very, very best talent that you can see.
Is there an accomplishment by a player or a team, in your opinion, over these 75 years that stands out the most? Either the Celtics run, which you and I both have our feelings about that, the Lakers' 33-game win streak, Kareem's scoring record. Is there anything that just is the most incredible thing to you in all these years?
For me, still being here is incredible, and I'm grateful, okay, that I can still be here, standing upright and doing this. But if I had to pick out, you know, one singular moment for me, and it's not the biggest thing, but it's for me, is to watch up close and personal the transformation of Dwyane Wade from great player to the best player in the world in 2006. You know, those kinds of moments of what's this guy doing? And again, and again, and again, with so much confidence, those kinds of moments that end up in him winning a title, you know, that can happen. You know, so those are iconic moments, and I think that is what stands out.